Hello, hello, hello. This is Mike from mysolarhome.us. I'm presenting our first video on solar systems for homes. We're going to look at your own home and see if it's a good candidate for solar panels. So, there are a couple of things you need to look at. You need to look at what type of home you own, how much electricity you pay for, how much of roof area you have, and how much do you actually pay per unit of electricity. So single family homes are usually pretty good because they've got a lot of roof area. But some townhomes and associations which allow solar, they could be good too, but you got to have a larger roof. Now a monthly electric bill of at least $100 makes sense because otherwise the financials don't look too good if you've got a bill of 75 on average per month. Of course, the roof area must be exposed to sun, and at a minimum, looking at 500 square feet of area which has good bright sunlight is a good rule of thumb because that's the area you'll need to put about 20 panels. Finally, the electricity rate of 12 cents, that's primarily to again make sure that solar saves you a bunch of money. If you're paying less than that to your current utility, solar might still make sense, but the savings are not as exciting. So let's look at how can we evaluate your home if it's good for solar. The best place to go is maps.google.com. Go to your browser, type in maps.google.com, and once that map comes up, type in your home's address into that cursor box there. I've just picked up a random address in New Jersey, and don't forget to click on that little box on the left at the bottom, which is basically showing you Google's satellite view image. Move your cursor around, the house will show up with a red button on top, as you can see there. And this particular house, as you can see, has got no trees around it. And this is fabulous for solar. Now, Google does a great job of showing you the directions. Down at the bottom is south. Obviously, to the right is east, west to the left, and north, where there's all those X's. That's because putting solar panels on any roof which is facing north is just no good in the United States. It might be good in the southern hemisphere, but here, because the sun basically rises from the east, it goes to the west. As a result, the southern roof pretty much gets sun the whole way through, and the east and the west roofs, they get sun for about half a day. But the north roof, it's pretty much no sun all day through. So let's look at some roofs to show you what I mean. Now, all these homes which have got roofs facing north and south, the south facing direction, they've got the tick signs on them. Those are roofs which are great for solar. Now, the roofs facing north all have X's on them, basically indicating that if you put panels there, they're not going to produce anything. They're really bad for solar. Now, let's look at these roofs which have got sections facing both east, west, south, and north. Now, I've just tick marked sections of roofs which are either facing south or east or west, which makes sense to install panels on. So next, we're going to look at trees. They're a huge issue with solar and putting solar panels in your roof. If you look at these four homes, the three on top, they all are great for solar. Obviously, the south facing roofs which face the street, they're great for solar. The opposite side, not so good. But that house in the bottom left corner with the red around it, that even though it's got roof space, but the trees on top make it absolutely no-no for solar. So these three roofs, on the other hand, even though they have trees, but they're reasonable distance away. So these are good for solar. But these next two, these are definitely not good. The trees are all over, there's shade all over. These two roofs, they hardly have any room. Not so good. This next home, also in the similar category, you could put up maybe a few panels on that section, but it's really pretty bad, as is the next home. So I'm ending with these homes which are not particularly good for solar. And now let's look at what kind of roofs are actually good for solar. So shingle roofs, the ones you see here, and the flat roof, these are all good for solar. Any solar installer is able to install panels on them with ease. Slate and metal seam roofs, which you see now, these are a different animal. Solar is possible on them, but you got to ask your solar installer before you get on the project. Make sure they have experience doing solar on these. So that's the end of my first video. What makes a home suitable for solar? The next in this series is going to talk about how solar can save you money. Please don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the logo on the bottom right of the screen. And I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you.